The first reading that we heard on this first fine day of the year, that's a blessing. And so we start this year reminded that the God we worship bestows many blessings on us. And as that reading was proclaimed, we all received its blessing. The first in our New Year's celebration. This new year reminds us that our God is a God of blessings. And knowing that God's face shines upon us and is gracious to us, that also should stir us to look kindly on others and to look for ways also to be gracious to those who have not earned our kindness or who normally do not experience a kindly face from others. Do you notice how the blessing of Numbers takes a particular shape also in today's gospel? Just as God is the source of blessing in that Numbers first reading, so God is the source of blessing through Jesus in today's gospel. The blessing for the shepherds who were considered outsiders and thought to be low class and dishonest, that blessing comes to them from the good news which they're given. And they hear it, and they accept it, and then they become believers. And upon their arrival in Bethlehem, they make known the message. They proclaim it to others who receive it in amazement. The blessing is given to the shepherds, and they act on it by proclaiming it to others. That, my friends, is how they became disciples. The good news comes to the shepherds where? Where they work. Tending sheep. That's what they did. Shepherding, just like our own jobs, was the source of income for themselves and for their families. And they certainly didn't expect anything extraordinary to happen that particular night. Nor did they do anything to earn God's blessings. We're not told that they were at prayer. We're not told that they were even believers. They were just doing their jobs. And God did for them what that book of Numbers does for us today. God blesses all of us. God shines his gracious face on every single one of us here. He looks kindly on everybody. Are we missing something on our jobs? Should we look more closely at our daily routines to see how and what God is revealing to us? Who is it among our daily encounters that wind up serving as our angelic messengers for us? Who are those who open our eyes and ears to God's good news? Those folks give to us what Mary received from the shepherds. Those things to keep and reflect on in our hearts. Maybe they tell us a truth about ourselves. Or maybe by their words and witness of their lives, they help us to see who needs our blessings, who needs our encouragement and support and presence. Maybe they gently prod us to think and act outside of our normal safe places. Maybe they upset our equilibrium by pointing out inequalities and injustices. And these messengers, they don't show up in angelic choruses in our lives. They are much more subtle than that. But what they do announce should stir us to get up to where Jesus is to be found. And then once we find him, then we take and announce that to all others. That's how Mary enters the scene, huh? Early in the gospel, she displays the characteristic marks of the believers that we will meet in later chapters in Luke's gospel and in life. Luke tells us that Mary kept all these things and reflected on them in her heart. So maybe Mary didn't fully comprehend what the events meant. So what does she do? She turns them over in her mind. Mary is a guide for us when things happen and we don't really know what they mean for our lives. The way she responds should encourage us to listen, to take things in, to reflect on them, and try to work out their meaning. Mary's not fretful or impatient. She listens and she trusts that more will be revealed. Mary is a model for what we must do as disciples. Listen and receive the blessing of the good news. Reflect on its meaning for our lives, and then live what we come to believe by being a blessing to other people. Jesus says later in the gospel that faith like Mary's, that is a model for all of his followers. And if we stay close to the scriptures today, we will avoid sentimentalizing Mary, distancing her from our own human experiences and struggles. If we make Mary so special that she doesn't resemble us, then she's going to wind up just being a glass picture on the side of this church. Hey, maybe we should light a candle today to honor Mary, the Mary that we experience in today's gospel. Mary is not a plaster saint or a frozen glass picture. She's not walking through life unmoved by the events around her with some otherworldly, serene smile on her face. No. She is fully mindful of what is occurring to her. She tries to understand the meaning of what she sees and hears. And throughout her life, she reflects on the difficult events happening to her and others. And like us, she tries not to lose her way in that chaos. Later, with Jesus' resurrection and the gift of the Spirit, believers will see in her a model of patience and prayer when life throws the big questions in our way. In her busy life, she reminds us to stop and listen to God's word and live with life's mysteries when the answers don't come so quickly. Today, we call Mary the Mother of God. And after reflecting on her life, we can also call her the Mother of Believers, the comforter of the doubting, encouragement of the searching, and listener in a busy world.